My name is Artsy, the Artsy sister, and today we're reading Saturnastra, Karina. This is Lesson 2, Unbarred Etiquette, Part 1. We're in Part 1. The following day, Janus was the first person to arrive to class. He had arrived early, so to ask Karina more questions about the last bizarre lesson. He had read the pertinent laws, and he had set on it and overthought things as was his habit. He was shocked and displeased when he noticed that there was a sign on the door. It read, "The class is cancelled forever for lack of interest. If you need help with the laws, go hire a tutor or memorize the book like a normal person." Janus waited at the stair, and after half an hour it was class time. Only Casimir, Babysar, Cameta, and Lucia appeared. They all read the notes, and Babysar was the first to speak. He said, "Well, that was a lot of fuss over nothing." "It is not too uncommon for girls her age to get easily discouraged," said Carmeta. "It probably hurt her feelings when the boys spoke fun of her lack of skills." "No, I don't think it had anything to do with the students or that," said Casimir. "How so?" asked Janus. "Well, I had a rumor that Karina, like her brother, is a mind reader. I only came here because my mom pressured me into it because of a stupid letter she got in the mailbox," said Lucian. "I see, so she knows that we came here against our will," said Casimir. He added, "So she closed the class to set us free." "It still doesn't seem right to me," said Janus. "It's fine, so we have one less class today," said Bobby, "so let's just go about our day and forget that this class ever existed." Bobby noticed that Janus was indeed quite tireful. Signing, he said, "Or not. We can go see her at her home and coax her to come back to teach us if it pleases you." At the end of the conversation, the students agreed to go visit Marduke's apartment. They had been curious about the place, and the incident with Karina was the perfect excuse to sneak a peek. The students knocked on the main third floor, and they waited. Babysar was surprised to know the answers of cards. Marduke never had to fear for his life because nobody could enter his home without his permission. Eventually, the landlady, Isabella, who lived on the first floor, opened the door. Looking at the student, she said, "What's the matter? Did you forget your key?" "Yes, sorry for the trouble, Lady Isabella," said Babysar, bowing. Not recognizing the voice, Lady Isabella closed the door a little. Putting on her spectacles, he said, "You don't live here. What do you want?" "We came here to see Princess Karina. She's our teacher, and she did not come to school today. We wanted to see if she's alright," said Janus. Lady Isabella thought a moment, and then she opened the door. Stepping back, she said, smiling, "You are welcome to try to have an audience with the princess." The students climbed the flight of stairs, and on the fifth floor there was a nondescript wooden door that led to Marduke's deceptively small apartment. Casimir was the first to say, "Hey, don't you find it odd that Karina lives here with the king and his wife and two children and a couple of servants?" "Now that I think about it, it is a bit strange," said Carmeta. "I lived in this apartment before, 100 years ago, and from the outside, the place still looks pretty much the same, with some renovations here and there. Other than that, it is still pretty much the same place, or so it would seem." "Yep, there is something fishy going on here," said Janus. "The place is too small to hold so many people." "It could be magic," said Lucian. "Ah, yes, magic, the default answer to all unexplained events in this world." The only person not satisfied with the magic explanation was Carmeta. Eventually the door opened, and Marduke had his usual dour look on his face. He said, "Are you going to stand here all day, or are you coming inside?" Embarrassed, the students entered within. "Time, bro?"
11 minutes.
Carmeta had seen and interacted with Marduke before, so she was used to his lack of manners. The students, however, had never met the king in the flesh. They were at odds with their expectations and what they saw. Marduke was wearing a white lace nightgown with a V cut on the chest and fluffy slippers. The outfit was normally worn by ladies, but Marduke preferred it because the outfit was way too comfortable. Like his mother, he liked to wear pajamas while at home, except when he was receiving important dignitaries. "Marduke Janus," he said, "my sister in the room over yonder. Take a left, and while you turn right, and then you will find her room. The door has a cool ornamental carving or something. I forget."
Oh man, I know what that's from.
Marduke left the entrance of his home, and then he returned to the sitting room in order to sit. He sat down on the sofa and he stretched his legs on top of the ottoman. He then nestled with cushions before putting a book over his face to return to his original napping position. Lucia could not help but say, "How disappointing." Why, were you expecting a throne or something decorated with lions? Asked Carmeta. The king doesn't believe in such ostentations. But ostentations are important in his illusion. A king must always look the part. If you say so, said Casimir, not too convinced. The students walked a bit past the living room and into the large hallway. There were rooms to either side of the hallway, and one of them did not have a door, and it was flanked by two open curtains. The room did indeed have a throne with red cushions and golden ornamental frame. The throne had three stone lions, and one lion had a paw over the globe made of pink quartz, and the other decoration followed the same golden and red pattern. Casimir looked into the eyes of the three lion ornaments, and he couldn't help but feel that one of them was staring back at him. Indeed, the third lion was an extra. Remember that Karina has a little mimic running about? As they progressed, they kept getting stopped by the residential mimic being called. Eventually, the students found the ornamental door. Janus hesitated a moment before trying to knock. Before he got around to it, Casimir opened the door. The students studied the room and their teacher's room in all its curiosity. Eventually, they saw Karina watering her pants, and as she did, she sang in a language that was not familiar to them. The song was wondering which was prettier, the rose or the carnation. Like her brother, she was wearing a nightgown. She was not planning to head out. The gown was pink with short sleeves that was just above her knees. The dress had a floral pattern featuring carnations and roses. She was barefoot, and her wild hair moved about in a floating fashion, as if it was underwater. As it did, it emitted a unique scent. In answer to the scent, the flowers Karina was watering responded in kind. Plants communicated with scent in an ultraviolet light. From Karina's hair, they started growing within twisting cardinal climbers, and they followed the same motion. And the movement stopped, and the climbers turned to hair when Karina stopped singing. Frowning, she said, "Don't you guys know how to knock?" Time?
Yeah, 7 minutes.
The door was open, said Casimir. Turning around, she said, "Just because a door is open doesn't mean you have the right to enter, you know." Barbershop interjected, "Wanted to know why you closed down the class." "From lack of interest, I suppose. I don't want to force people to do something that they do not want to. Having the class open was compelling you to come against your will, so I closed it," said Karina. "That was then and this is now. We all came way out of our way. And I do not speak for everyone when it comes to interest, but I want you to return to teaching us." "Look, I'm going to level with you guys. I was looking for something new to do with my life, and this teaching thing was more of a hobby than a job. For you see, I'm like rich in tricks, and none of you will ever be able to pay me with what you owe me," explained Karina. "Anyhow, I was having fun with the little teaching gig, and then here comes the messenger with a bag of coin as payment. And the amount of it was so pitiful in comparison to my mission salary that it took all the fun out of it. And here I take my time to teach the difference between good and evil, and it's only worth 1,000 coins, and do not insult me." Janus said nothing, and he felt a little bit embarrassed. He was the one who had sent the bag with the messenger. Lucian then said, "If the gold bothers you so much, I'm happy to take it off your hands." "Too late. I already fed it to my pet little brother, so too bad," said Karina. "Well, if you really want me to teach you guys a lesson, then I am more happy to oblige. Other than overwatering my plants, I haven't anything better to do with my time on this world." Overwatering my plants. "We are game if you are, princess," said Babison. Karina placed down the watering can, and her clothing began to glow as they reconfigured into her usual dress. Only this time she chose a pink and gold color combination. Carmeta whistled and said, "Now that is a neat trick, but you are really wearing clothing, or is that outfit just an illusion?" "It is whatever helps you sleep at night," said Karina. "Now get out of my room and let's go already." So Karina pushed the students out of her bedroom. Along the way, she pushed a little too strongly Lucian, who was refusing to depart. The latter was flung out of the room, but was caught by a carpet that morphed into a large cushion. A bit shaken, Lucian said, "Thank you, whatever you are." Karina came to him and said, "Sorry, I sometimes forget that I'm dealing with flimsy little flowers. I would not have shoved you so hard if you would have had the courtesy of leaving my room when I asked." "That's fine," said Lucian annoyed, and he added, "I'm not a flimsy little flower. You're just not human." "I am as human as you are, my fellow tube baby," said Karina, giving him a queer smile. Lucian did not understand what Karina meant as tube baby. It was only many years when he finally started to develop magic that he understood what she meant by it. Time?
4 minutes.
Karina went with her students following behind her. They were still within class time, though Karina only had an hour left to weave something together that resembled a lesson. Since she had given up on the hobby, she had to erase from her mind anything having to do with the current and future lessons. As she was, she meditated, and eventually she had a ruckus nearby, and a fellow being thrown out of the local pub. This incident was a big aha moment for her, and she then said, "I thought of a good lesson for you guys." Karina entered the bar, and her students followed, and Carmenta, Casimir, and Janus followed. Only Lucian and Bobby still hesitated. Lucian said, "Maybe this is her idea of teaching us a lesson." "Yep." When she said it, it sounded more like a threat than anything else, and Bobby said not too confident either. Time?
2 minutes, 30 seconds.
After standing there for 5 minutes more, the remaining students entered within. They found the students and the teacher sitting in a counter. Due to the low light of the pub, Carmenta was able to raise her hood. Her look surprised the other student. She was indeed a lovely specimen, with open ears and refined face, large pouty lips, thick eyebrows, and expressive black almond eyes. The hair was blonde at the tip, with the rest black. Based on the waist length of her hair, Carmenta had become a dark elf around 7 years ago. Elves and humans had pretty similar hair growth rate. And the fact that the tips of her hair were blonde made it easy for Karina to gauge how long ago the metamorphosis had taken place. Lucian and Bobby still sat in their counter. Nearest to Lucian was an old, haggard, smelly old gentleman who was crying. Lucian said to Karina, "So what is the lesson here?"
What?
Yeah. They're at a bar and there's like a guy near them crying. And I asked him, "What's the lesson here?"
Oh.
Well, as I was explaining to the others, according to statistics, about 95% of the citizens in Veragerung have visited a pub or a tavern at least once in their lifetime. Of that number, 87% make regular visits at least once a month. There are a lot of drunk people. Others, like my friend Jerry over here, practically live at the bar. Jessica Karina pointed to the sobbing old man. "Why is he crying?" asked Janus. The bartender said, I would like to see you lose all your children. I would like to see how you lose all your children in the Great War and still maintain a happy disposition." Like, the guy's crying because he lost everything. Because he lost his entire lineage. "So it's Marduke's fault," said Janus, frowning. "Me," said Karina, shrugging her shoulders. The crying old man said, "Oh, Roger, you were the best dog a man could ever have. How I miss you." It was then when Babison noticed that the dog collar the old man had in his free hand. Casimir then said to the barkeeper, "Not funny." Like, he lied about him losing all of his children. The guy wasn't crying for his life children, he was crying because his dog died. Yeah?
Yeah.
"You are no fun," said the bartender. "Though I am a little bit disappointed about how quickly you assumed that our most esteemed and grandiose ruler was the bad guy in this little story." Time?
Less than a minute.
"Yeah, Janus, why is that, I wonder," said Karina, invading Janus' personal space. "It's almost as if you forget that I am Marduke's sister."